Okay, so what we got here is I believe it's 79 Ford Courier, 4-wheel drive, step side. And we're working on getting this thing from a farmer we are family friends with in kind of a desert area. So not a lot of rust happening over here. This thing's been sitting out here for a while. This thing is a sweet little rig. Let's see if we can pop the hood. Oh. So here's the old, everything looks intact, the motor and everything. Looking pretty good. We're gonna see if we can get this thing loaded up on a trailer. And there's a few dents, you know, that'll have to be taken care of, no big deal. We're gonna try to get it loaded on a trailer and drag it home with us and see if we can't get this puppy running and back on the road again. Pretty cool little old rig.
Well, that's chain on the drive. You can shut the hay right off. Yes, sir.
There's some quality tires right there.
Okay, it's time to get to work on this little gem. Pretty unique little truck. My wife really took a liking to this rig, so I think what I'm going to do is right now we're just going to try to get it started and see if we can get it running and whatnot. But long term, I think we're going to restore this truck and see if we can make it a little more roadworthy. Now let's just take a little step in here and get a closer look at this beauty. There's a few dents, but nothing we can't possibly massage out, so we won't worry about that yet. Rear bumper's in nice shape. Neat little step side bed. Pretty cool. Missing a mirror on this side, but no biggie. Let's go peek at the interior a second. I was pretty impressed with how well the interior was preserved. The seat's not bad. The door cards are pretty decent. And the headliner is immaculate. So, pretty cool little dash in this thing. It looks like we probably had some rodents in here, but we'll get that cleaned up. You can see we got the third pedal. It's a manual 4-wheel drive. So let's take a peek under the hood a second. And as you can see, it's all there. Looks pretty nice. You pull the air cleaner off here. Look how clean that is. I don't think it's going to be too hard to start, but before we get going on this thing, I just want to peek under here a second and show you the custom work that was done on this thing. Not sure who did it, but either way, I don't know if it was turned into a 4-wheel drive or if it started out as a 4-wheel drive from the factory, but somebody did some work to this thing. So another big reason I wanted to take this thing home was all the glass is intact and it all looks great. Rear window, both side windows, the windshield has no chips in it or nothing. So this thing's in nice shape, except for the tires. Okay, well, let's see if we can't turn this thing over by hand. What we'll do is probably pull the spark plugs out before we do that and see if we can't just turn it with the belts on the front here. Let's see. Not too bad. Doesn't look like there's been any moisture in the cylinders, so, or at least in that one. Easily. Spins over nicely, and I'm just turning it with the alternator and the vac pump on the other side. Crank's turning pretty good there. Looks like it has some junk on it, but not bad. You can feel a little compression. Okay, that's good. So now that we figured that out, I think what I'm gonna do is throw a battery in here really quick, and we'll see if the starter actually turns it over. Okay. So I do have a ground wire right here that's just all chewed up. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe make a little bit better of a ground cable, hook it to the side, and we'll give it another whirl, because obviously my connections are a little off right now. So let me make one of those and we'll get back to it. Well, let's go on ahead and see if there's oil in this thing. And there is, right at the max line. Wow. Smells like fuel. Well, for sitting that long, I don't think it leaked a drop. That's good news. All right, so I got the battery somewhat hooked up. Not great ends on it, but let's give her another whirl, see if the key turns the starter over. Well, looks like the key turned it over, but we got a smoke show out of the deal. Oh man. Wow, that got hot. So this is where we were getting hot, right down here. You can see some of these wires melted right there, so now I'm gonna have to address that. Yeah, it just pulls right apart. So could be that something's bad in there. Not really sure. So I think I'm gonna have to look into that a little bit. But I did get action in the cab. I'll just show you that in a minute while the key is hooked in. So if you get some lights on the dash. They're pretty intermittent. Oh, there you go. So maybe I still got bad grounds or something. Maybe that's why I had the smoking. But let me go ahead and see if I can't repair this deal here, and then we'll give it another shot. All right, so I did a quick little fix on the wire that burnt up on here, just so I could keep going. This is the voltage regulator. I did call the local O'Reilly's, and they have one coming. It'll be there tomorrow. But I just wanted to repair that, just do a quick repair on that, so I could maybe just test spark, and that way I could get a coil coming too if I need to. So what I want to do here real quick is I just want to take this coil wire and this little spark tester here, just like that, and see if I'm getting a light in the tester there. So it should turn over again. Let's go ahead and turn the key. See, after I fix that voltage regulator, we get a lot more lights on the dash. So let's go ahead and see if I turn the key if we get light on that spark tester. So I just noticed while I was trying out the spark tester test that sometimes when I let off the key, it throws a spark. So right there, and that's when I let off the key. So I may be looking at an ignition switch, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but might have to snag one of those as well. Okay, so it's the next day here. As you can see, I redid some connections here, redid the ground, and I put it over to the block there. Kind of put this ground onto here where I was grounding it last night. So that's a lot better ground, and it should turn over a lot better than it was before. So I also got this voltage regulator here, so hopefully that fixes that issue that we're with the burnt wires and all that, as well as a new coil. So we're going to go ahead and give her another spark test, but instead of using these old wires, I'm going to throw a new one on there. That way we eliminate that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw this coil wire on here, and we'll hook up the spark tester and see if we're getting spark from the coil now. Try to rig it in a way that you guys can see it. Let's see here. Let's try that out. Okay, it's sparking. It may not have been lighting up, but it was arcing over to the metal here. You know, so that's good enough for me. So we got spark, and as you could tell, it was turning over a lot faster as well with the whole battery setup there. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just before I dig any farther, let's throw some spark plugs in there and put the new wires on, and I'll probably go ahead and take this air cleaner off as well, so we have access to the carburetor. But then we'll give her another whirl, see if she fires off for us. Okay, let's get this thing off of here. Looks like it's held down with some 10mm bolts, so we'll take those off. Alright, this might allow us to have a little more space to work as well, so oopies. Okay, let's see if that, here we go. Oh man, got a lot of hoses. Okay. Alright, well that works. We'll take that one off. See if I can get this one off here. It's been on there for a few years. Okay. So there's that. We'll go ahead and just lay that to the side for now.
All right, let's throw a fresh set of spark plugs in here. And see if that wakes this thing up. Okay, let's get these plug wires on here. Now that we got all the spark plugs in, so we got new plugs in, new wires, new coil, new voltage regulator, good battery. You know, by the looks of things in their little sight window here, actually I'm going to go ahead and show you. So these carburetors have a sight window, and as you can see, there is fuel in it. And it's holding. It's got the float up there. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure it'll burn, but it's probably not great. It's been sitting for a long time. Well, let's see what happens. Go ahead and loosen up the distributor here, see if I can adjust it a little bit timing wise, and see if that don't make a difference on this whole deal. So let's go ahead and get this thing loosened up. I'll just turn it a little bit, see if that makes a diff. Okay, so before I get too crazy with this thing, I want to double check a few little things. Right under here, there's a sight window on these things to see where if the timing marks are all lined up. So I'm going to see if I can't pop this thing off here. And take a peek in there. This thing's pretty old and crusty, but see if we can't get it off of there. There we go. Okay. All right, so it's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to try to, you can see the little tab in there, right there. And I think there's a spot on the gear there that needs to line up with that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over a little bit until I find that and line that up. And then I want to also take the number one spark plug out again. And I have a little piece of like a plastic coat hanger that I used before to stick in there and see when we're at top dead center. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. That way I can match it up with when the tabs are lined up in that sight hole. And if the piston's at top dead center and the marks are lined up in the sight hole, I'll feel a lot better about where we're at, and we can have a new starting point to set our distributor. So let's pull that out. I'm going to throw that in a spot here that's going to stay safe and dry. Now, let's see. Make sure this thing ain't too deep where I'm going to lose my little pin. Let's see here. I don't want that thing to go all the way in there. It used to be longer, I think. That's what she said. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, before I put that in, we're gonna pull the distributor cap back off. Oops. So it is not on one. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna have to turn it over with the key here a second. Let me go ahead and do that. Okay, that should be pretty close. All right, that should be pretty close to top dead center. And there should also be a mark by that timing tab down here. I'm not seeing it, so. Okay, so you see the two little marks there on the crank pulley, right close to that timing tab. That's going to be roughly top dead center. And then our distributor also should be right at top dead center. And then it's close at least. And then yeah, see the piston's pretty much right at the top. The only other thing would be if my timing's off in here. And I don't see what I feel like I should be seeing here, so that's unfortunate. I feel like there should be some kind of indicator on that wheel. Alright, one other thing I kind of want to make sure of is that we're actually getting spark at the plugs here. Alright, so that was an extremely weak spark as far as I could tell. I just cleaned the cap and rotor. I can't get one at the moment. I gotta wait at the local parts store. Alright, so I got it a little closer to where I can hopefully see things a little better. And I'm gonna give it another shot. And I can actually hear it arcing. I just can't see it very well. So I think it is sparking. It's spark plugs. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the valve cover off because I think I might need to make sure all the valves are doing their thing. That'd be another way to make sure everything's lined up timing wise. So we'll go ahead and take this off real quick and see what we got underneath here.
Wow. That's pretty clean for sitting in the field for 33 years. Okay, so things look really nice in here. Look how clean this looks in here. You can tell the oil's circulating really well. It looks awesome. So what I'm gonna wanna do is, if I can find top dead center again, is see if these two valves are all the way closed when we're at top dead center. And that way I can make sure this cam gear is still lined up on the timing belt. So I'm gonna go ahead and find top dead center again and see what we got. Right here-ish. And this should be yep, my distributor's at top dead center. My timing tab is lined up with the crank pulley, but one of my valves looks like my exhaust valve on cylinder 1 is compressed. Instead of looking through this sight hole, I'm wondering if I maybe need to pull this cover off, but I think I will go ahead and pull this cover off of the timing pulleys here, and I'm just going to double check that while I'm this deep in it, because I may just need to throw a new timing belt on. I don't think it's a huge deal on these motors, and that way we just know for sure. So let's go ahead and pull this off, and then I'll show you what we have going on. Okay. So we got that cover off. I'll bring you guys in here in just a sec. So here you go. Here's with that cover off, and as you can see, there's a little mark right there on that tooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and find what I thought was top dead center again. And it's supposed to be lined up with this, I believe. And then it's supposed to line up with all the other pulleys down below as well. There's a lot of junk in there, so it could easily have skipped that belt in the whole process, but let me see actually if I can turn this over right now with what I got. Alright, so I've got my little mark lined up with the tab there. As you can see down on the crank pulley, there are no tabs where that little or where the timing tab would have been. There's no little marks present right now, so that's bad news, bears. And then also, because I think it definitely is out of alignment, I can tell the piston is quite a ways down there, so that is definitely out of time. I may quick clean all this out and just look this belt over and see if I can just redo it really quick.
just until I get a new one in, because I don't think they take very long or are very hard to do. Alright, so as you can see, I got all the junk out of the way here, make it a little easier to work. You can still tell there was clean coolant in this thing. So anyways, I got the mark right here on this pulley, and then I got on this pulley here, there's a mark right there on that tooth, and then I don't know, but I think there's supposed to be, I think that's a mark right there on that one. I'm gonna see if I can just clean this up here a bit, reposition this belt, and throw things back together and give it another shot. Okay, so as you can see, I got the mark right here, pretty well right where I could get it. I put my dot straight down because that's that's just the oil pump, but that put my rotor on the distributor exactly where I had it before, so that's what I wanted. And then you can see this here, the dot on this one lines up with the little tab, the notch in there. And also, now the valves, yes, I know things are getting a little wet here. The valves are both closed on cylinder 1, and with my little push stick, piston's right at the top. So now it's back in time. I will put a new belt on this, but just for now, to get it started, I wanted to give it a whirl. It's really not that hard. Of course, when I do it, I'm going to want to put a new tensioner on and whatnot, so I'll do the whole shebang. But I'm going to throw everything back on here now and close this up so it doesn't get any serious amount of water in it, and we might give her another shot. Okay, so I just got the fan to put on yet after this, and the alternator belt, and that's pretty much it. In all honesty, readjusting that timing belt only took me maybe a half hour. Pretty simple. Get this alternator tightened up here. Well, let's see here. Oh yeah, we gotta gonna throw the bolts back in this valve cover so we don't spew oil everywhere. All right, throw the sparky plugs back in. Spark plug wires, I mean. Okay. All right. The weather cleared up just a little bit, which is nice. But we've got the timing belt back in time. Distributor is set pretty close to where it needs to be, so it should be good. Spark plug wires are all hooked back in. I think we're going to give it a go here. So let me get set up and we'll give it a try. You gotta be kidding me. Look at that. Okay, I think she's gonna run. I'm gonna dump a little more fuel in there and see if I can't get it to do a little more than that. Looks like it was the timing this whole time. Shaky old motor. That is awesome. Okay, let's see if it'll go again.
Alright, so she's not wanting to idle. Well, so I made a few little carb adjustments with let's do it right there. Idle air mixture. And I made a little timing adjustment. Let's see if we can see this here. Out of those two marks, I adjusted it from the one mark to the other one, and blammo, purring like a kitten. I mean, it's running pretty good now, idling on its own. Oh, sounds like she might die. Maybe not. She's gonna catch itself. So yeah, there she is. She's idling on her own. So now I'm gonna kind of lock things in. Okay, so got it idling. I'm gonna jump in there. I know I gotta get tires yet, but let's at least see if it'll go in gear, and then we'll know. We can drive this thing once we get tires on it. Here. Oh yeah. Yep. Pretty sure it'll drive once we get some tires on it. So we'll get some new tires. I'm gonna do oil change, and then we'll try to get this thing moving under its own power. Okay, let's throw a new set of tires and wheels on here. Dang, looks like we put a lift kit on her. Looking pretty sharp. The only thing I guess I'll have to check is if it rubs anywhere with the steering, because I think those are a decent amount bigger than those. Not too much bigger, but yeah, she don't look too bad. With a fresh set of shoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and change oil, and then we're gonna try to take her for a ride. All right, well, think it's time to drain this old oil and put some fresh oil in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Wow. No metal. This thing's clean. Okay, so let's let her drain, and we'll replace it here in a second. Also, they put the oil filter in a great spot on these things. Easy to reach. All right, new filters on. Drain plugs back in. Let's go ahead and fill this puppy up. Oop. Okay, fresh oil. I think we're ready to go for a drive. Well, she's a runner. We're driving her. Got her on the road. I got a flat tire back there. But other than that, not too shabby. Look at that. Going down the road, huh? Guess what? Brakes work too. Stops on her own. Let's see if I can put her in reverse here. Oh yeah. She takes reverse. It's got all the gears. After 33 years. I can't believe it. This is great. It feels pretty good to get this thing back on the road. All right, well, this has been a pretty fun revival. Thanks for watching. Hope you follow along on this build as we kind of get into this as well. And